Did it work? So double echo. Did it work? Think so. Q. Live chat. I need to cover my camera. Oh, the door's shut. I'm gonna close my. My closet. You don't need to see what's in there. No. You don't need to see what's in there. Well, hello, chat. Fix. It's just the. Still. Okay. Alright, okay, alright. Okay. Alright. Let's watch some freaking videos, dude. Let's freaking watch some videos. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy.
All right, folks, we have some major breaking news. Donald Trump is making good on his attempts to unilaterally assert unprecedented, unconstitutional control over elections right before the 2026 midterms because he knows he's getting his ass kicked. And to analyze this, I brought in friend of the show and attorney Pisco of Pisco Liddy, a.k.a. Pisco's Hour. But before we get to Pisco's analysis, I want you to see two clips from the executive order signing ceremony.
I think I'd rather watch. I mean, it's so crazy. I was watching this earlier.
Which is literally a quote.
What he's looking to do. This is Democracy Watch. Mark, we have a breaking announcement happening right now. I'm going to throw to a quick clip of something that Donald Trump just said in the Oval Office.
Okay, so that's a big deal. Very proud of it. And I don't know how it can be challenged. I'll probably challenge it. You may find a rogue judge. You get a lot of rogue judges, very bad people, very bad judges. But that's the only way that can be changed. And hopefully we'll win an appeal if it is. But I don't see how anybody can challenge it. I don't see how they can challenge it. And remember, it's about voter integrity. We want to have honest voting in our country, because if you don't have honest voting, you can't have really a nation, if you want to know the truth. Howard, I'll give that to you.
So that was Donald Trump.
I mean, it's just so psychotic. Like, it's so psychotic. The idea that the United States has any say in how elections are run, or that he can just sign an executive order of which he has literally no constitutional power over. It's just so crazy. It's so fucking insane, the world we live in now. There is this concept I was just introduced to. Radical centrism. You know what? Is there something? Oh, this is a really good book. Reading Liberalism and Its Discontents what do we call this? To read science advocacy, California politics. I'm always ass at using Obsidian. Maybe we delete it. Yeah, I do want to delete it actually. New note, new folder. Oh. Oh wait. What the fuck? What the ass, dude? Yeah, I do. Aaron Herrera, what the heck? Call it random politics. Move this over. And then... Okay. So, radical centrism, also referred to as the radical center or radical middle, is a concept emerged in Western nations in the late 20th century. Is this the same thing? This is... Wait, no. No. Reactionary centrism. Which is like why we're here. Well, no. No. What is it? How do you do the bullet points in Obsidian? Bullet points. Obsidian. Type hyphen. Halo. Nice. This is like, I think this is such a big reason as to why we are where we are. Reactionary centrism is a term used by left-wing commentators to describe a form of political centrism that allegedly criticizes the left while pandering to the right. The term was coined by American activist and former Democratic aide Aaron Hretz in a 2018 essay. I think I might read that. In his essay, Hretz argued that there was a crisis of lopsided political polarization in the United States, where a great deal of political commentary still approaches our politics with a strange form of unearned even-handedness. Opinion columnists, influential academics, and think tankers feel a need to occupy a middle ground, even if it's one that is increasingly a product of their own imaginations. As a result, they wind up giving the right wing a free pass for accepting its worst impulses, as a reality we have to live with, while reserving their criticisms and armchair quarterbacking for anyone to the left. This has plagued our society for so long, for the last like 20 years. And you see this like just all throughout society. I'm a scientist, and the scientific community has this idea that you don't want to appear partisan or you don't want to appear biased by calling out the Republican Party and the right for their authoritarian leanings and therefore their complete and utter dismantling of the United States scientific enterprise. And so I'm curious about how this looks, because it always does this OBS studio disconnected, reconnected. Tight, it's reconnected. Awesome. You don't want to appear partisan And so, in service of that, you are gonna just totally and utterly ignore reality so that you can appear as if you are the one who's reasonable, because the goal is to be unbiased. And so you try to be so unbiased that you lose connection with reality. Like this sentence right here: opinion columnists, influential academics, and think tankers fill a need to occupy a middle ground, even if it's one that is increasingly a product of their own imaginations. And that is just what has happened. Like the right has moved so far to the right in this country, and in order to try and like hold the country in a reasonable direction, there is a reasonable impulse there to like, okay, these people are making the argument, let's try and find compromise, let's try to work with them. This has plagued the Democratic Party. This has plagued mainstream media. If you look at the CNN, let's just pull up the fucking CNN debate. CNN Vice President debate 2024. Cool. I think they're kind of weird about it. If we go to the transcript, what? Are you thirds? If you full screen it. Settings, quality. Are you for real? Tim Walls. JD Vance. Remove full debate. Embarrassing. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. I'm guessing it's probably in here. Oh my gosh. Big candidates are asked on the advance is asked if you would separate tomorrow's press on his previous claim. Oh my god.
That's the bill. She'll sign it.
Governor Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong.
This is in full display of this reactionary centrism, where CNN feels this obligation in order to appear nonpartisan, and so they have to ask Tim Walz a question, and then they have to ask, or like a question that paints them in a negative light, and then they have to ask JD Vance a question that paints him in a negative light. And these are the questions they ask.
Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year.
How fucking stupid.
1989. In Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989.
So you said you were there in the protests of Tiananmen Square in 1989. That happened in the spring.
But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year.
So you missed the window by 6 months.
Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, well, and to the folks out there who didn't get it.
So you said you were there during this time. You weren't. You were there 6 months later. 30 fucking years ago.
the top of this. Look, I grew up in small rural.
Whatever. He gives a shit answer. Oh, okay. And then what is JD Vance's hard-hitting question? What is the really hard one for JD Vance to answer?
Us Americans a fair wage.
After the 2020 election, President Trump's campaign and others filed 62 lawsuits contesting the results.
Lost every single fucking one of those, by the way.
Judges, including those appointed by President Trump and other Republican presidents,
Literally, even your guys appointed, even the people you appointed, they didn't even side with you, little bro.
looked at the evidence and said there was no widespread fraud. The governors of every state in the nation, Republicans and Democrats, certified the 2020 election.
The DOJ, the FBI, none of them could find voter fraud. No evidence, nothing, nada. You're an embarrassment.
Results and sent a legal slate of electors to Congress for January 6th.
Let's just listen to that again, because she didn't just say that Trump actually tried to steal the 2020 election, did she?
Republicans and Democrats certified the 2020 election results and sent a legal slate of electors to Congress for January 6th.
Oh, they did. Trump did try to steal the election by sending an illegal slate to verify that he won certain key battleground states. So then Mike Pence could say that because we don't know who won what state, we have to throw out these electoral college votes.
Senator Vance, you have said you would not have certified the last presidential election and would have asked the states to submit alternative electors. That has been called unconstitutional and illegal. Would you again seek to challenge this year's election results, even if every governor certifies the results? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, Nora, first of all,
So the question for Tim Walz is, you said you were in China for the Tiananmen Square in 1989. Actually, you weren't there for that, but you were there 6 months later. How do you respond to that? What? And that is being held at the same level as Donald Trump trying to steal the 2020 election. You said you would have helped him steal the 2020 election. How do you respond to that? How are these two questions even held in the same regard? And when it's asked like this, as if these are equally as damning, it is fucking psychotic. It is absolutely psychotic. And this is exactly what reactionary centrism is. Just read the rest of the overview. We can just read the whole thing. UK-based Palestinian Lebanese researcher Elia Ayoub has defined the term as centrists who often validate perceived concerns of the right and far right while blaming the left for failures of centrist politics. Those who are convinced that the way to do politics is to effectively treat the far right as the people, the default, the silent majority. They don't view themselves as right-wingers, but act as though right-wing politics are always more popular with the people. Tommy Buckle of Prospect has defined reactionary centrism as people who, while not exactly supportive of the political right, tend to view it as without agency, as if the radicalization of U.S. conservatism is a result of people responding to the excesses of social justice, incivility from the left, or cultural disrespect. Reactionary centrists admonished liberals to be very careful in their language, to not call very obvious fascists, lest they be further provoked. The solution was to give ground. If Democrats made appeals to the center, particularly if they moved right on immigration and trans right, they could regain votes lost to Trump. Saying the dynamic that defines reactionary centrism, the right must be understood, but never blamed. The left can be blamed, but not need be understood. This is just what has plagued our society for so long. The right is what sets the conversation and is what has determined what is outside of the right's Overton window. Your You're the crazy one. Historian Thomas Zimmer has argued that reactionary centrism is fueled by pervasive anxiety among elites who are convinced that the assault on traditional authority has gone too far, saying that it should fundamentally conceptualize as a struggle over authority, a struggle between those who want to uphold traditional authority versus those who are challenging it. Debates. Some commentators have argued that the term is pejorative rather than an accurate description of political phenomena. These commentators would be stupid and dumb, is what you'd call that. Pundit Jonathan Chait has criticized the term as an insult for liberals who sometimes criticize the left, arguing that most centrists to whom the term has been applied, in fact, criticizes the right more than they criticize the left, and that term is one-sided demand. The liberals must abstain from criticizing the left or criticize only in the most respectful terms, because unhinged attacks on the left help the right. The left, on the other hand, is free to attack liberals without hesitation. One cannot help but suspect the point of these rules is winning ultra-left factional conflicts, not national. Interesting. I would think that these are talking about two different things. He's saying that this term is, an insult for liberals who criticize like the far left, like socialists, tankies, and people of that ilk who are typically illiterate and they're not interested in power. Or two, they want to destroy any and everything that liberals and liberal values stand for. The term has been used in debates about centrism in the United States. Paul Rosenberg of Salon. Paul Rosenberg. How do I know that? Does he have a Wikipedia? Who are you, dog? Salon. Salon is American politically progressive liberal news and opinion website created in 1995. Okay. The term has been used in debates about centrism in the United States. Paul Rosenberg of Salon has argued that reactionary centrism has contributed to the success of the political career of Donald Trump. True. Claiming that it played a role in events such as the backlash to the George Floyd protests, negative coverage of Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential election campaign, campus free speech debates, a lack of substantive discussion of policy and news media, and alarmism over crime and the economy and the presidency of Joe Biden. Fucking true. Fucking so fucking true. We totally forget that we're disregarded, and any and all things that happened under Joe Biden was because of Joe Biden and not because of the circumstances. Here of the Nation has argued that it forms part of a counter-revolution within the Democratic Party to the emergence of a strong left-wing current within the party in the mid to late 2010s, including Bernie Sanders' 2016 presidential campaign, Squad, a resurgence of labor union organizing within the United States, the growth of support for Palestine among youth, as well as new social movements such as the Me Too and George Floyd protests. I don't know if I totally understand that, so maybe that's interesting, worth reading. Why it's okay for progressives to enjoy Sam Bankman-Fried's downfall. Political fortunes are always waxing and waning. The few roller coaster rides have been as dizzying as the rapid ascent and precipitous fall of Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, who went in a matter of weeks from being a billionaire savior collapsed to the bosom of the Democratic Party establishment to a bankrupt pariah facing criminal charges. August 4th, 2022, Politico swooned over SBF, as he's commonly known. Did you notice how I said that before it was even an acronym? I guess you could say I'm super smart and cool with the kids. As the Democratic Party's newest mega donor, August 4th, 2022, political swoon over SBF, as he's commonly known as the Democratic Party's newest mega donor. Only 30 years old, he had already amassed vast personal wealth, estimated in the neighborhood of $26 billion, as a co-founder of the Bahamas-based cryptocurrency exchange FTX. Starting in 2020, with donations totaling more than $5 million to Joe Biden's election run, SBF was quickly anointed a donor class Priceline. Damn. Is this through like a super PAC or like? Because you can't donate directly to the campaign. And there's no citation included. I don't want to get stuck on a tangent, so I'm just going to type that out to SBF. Contribution to the Biden campaign. Back. Statute rose even higher in the 2022 election cycle when he gave more than $40 million to the Democratic campaigns and offshoots. This lavish endowment made SBF second only to George Soros as a party benefactor. Politico breathlessly cited SBF's promise that in the event of a Trump-Biden rematch in 2024, he would kick up upwards of $1 billion to ensure Democratic victory. Yet by November, the promised billion had turned out to be not just speculative, but entirely fictive. Just days after the voting ended in 2022 midterms, FTX filed for bankruptcy. On December 12th, SBF was arrested in the Bahamas on charges of fraud, campaign finance violations. In late December, two very close business associates of his, Caroline Ellison, CEO of the FTX-affiliated firm, Alameda Research, and Gary Wang's FTX co-founder, pleaded guilty to criminal charges. I have to read the ongoing criminal investigation should cause restless nights, not only for SBF, but for the Democratic Party's elites who so recently had welcomed his cash, as Theodore Schauffele of Puck reports. Paranoia is pervasive among Democrats who cross paths with FBS. Everyone now is preparing for the worst. Door knocks from investigators document retentions. This is awkward. I don't have a subscription to the Nation. And my broke is not going to get one. I do think it's really funny, though, that this person is a mega donor, and then this person was deemed to do something illegal, and then was investigated and arrested. If this were to be a mega donor of Trump, this person would not be investigated, or if they were going to be immediately pardoned, i.e. the other crypto billionaire that was pardoned by Trump. Crypto billionaire pardon. Changpeng CZ Zhao. Anyways, the term has also been used by British commentators. British pundit Toby Buckle of Prospect has described the term as pejorative. No one self-identifies as one, but has argued it helps to highlight some of the patterns that shifted British political discourse so far to the right in the 2020s, citing examples such as the contrast between press coverage of the 2024 United Kingdom riots and of Palestine action. Shit about UK politics. Finn McRedmond of The New Statesman has argued that while reactionary centrists believe themselves to be pragmatic vanguards of consensus politics, they're prone to an arduous game of self-deception, still believing that they're champions of civility while completely vulnerable to wild, unverified rumors of plot. Noting events in British politics such as conspiracies that Brexit was a result of a Russian PSYOPs campaign appointment of Charlotte Owen, Baroness Owen of Elderly Edge to the House of Lords, and Nigel Farage's Coutts bank scandal. UK-based Palestinian-Lebanese researcher Alia Ayoub has argued that reactionary centrism has played a major role in shaping the ideologies of Morgan McSweeney and Kara Starmer. Oh, isn't this the guy who's kind of key? Saying they committed themselves to committing themselves to deeply popular policies, including especially among their own base. Labour is in power, and yet it acts as if Farage is the prime minister. This has... Oh my god, please leave. What are you doing, dog? What are you doing? Chat, very informative. Get out. How about that? I don't want an audience. How about that? I have to do something real quick. Is there a way to mute? Does that work? Mute. Does it pick up on it now? It still picks up on it. That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't. That's the thing. It doesn't even make sense. That's the thing. Let me look at YouTube. Is it? YouTube. Is it? It does. It is still capturing my voice. How do you turn that off? Oh my god. Hey, Spencer, is that someone's last name? Spencer's Product 9481. Terrible name. Terrible name. It is a terrible name. Mods ban him. Ban him from the chat, mods. Dude, is there any way to mute? There's no way to mute, is there? Dude, OBS is it's so hard to use. To all my followers out there, all 2 of you, it's so hard to use. Don't save. OBS is it's so hard to use. To all my followers out there, all 2 of you, it's so hard to use. Don't save. I figured it out. I figured out how to mute it. Let's fucking go. OBS is it's so hard to use. To all my followers out there.